So much to look forward to. England will train later this morning ahead of their game with the Ivory Coast tomorrow night. We can look ahead to that. It's Monday, so that means Stephen Warnock, there he is. Comfort of your own home today for a change. There we go. See, don't say we're not kind to you on a Monday morning. Very good morning to you. Right, let's get into Saturday's game, shall we? Three debutants in Gareth Southgate's side. What did you make of the game against Switzerland?
I thought it was a really good challenge. I think it was that type of game where you know a team's going to come and they're going to sit deep. They're going to make it difficult for you because of the quality that England possess in the squad. No team is now going to try and go toe-to-toe with them unless they're a top team. Switzerland sort of know their level. They know where they're at. They've got good players, but they know if they were to come out of their shape and to make it easy for England, really, they dominate them. So I thought it was a solid performance because it was going to be difficult. I thought they were patient as well. Switzerland frustrated them, but they stuck with it. And it was a really mature performance.
It was. They were tested. They went that goal down, but they showed that mental strength as well. For you, who was the standout performer?
Conor Gallagher. He's someone that we speak about time and time again, Rob, on the show, and how much he's improving. And we talk about energy of a player, but you have to have the technical aspect as well and the understanding of how to play in a team. And he came in, he looked confident, really confident. He wanted to take the opportunity handed to him by Gareth Southgate, and I thought he did that so well. Involved a lot in everything that was good about England. Does extremely well here to pick out his man for the goal. Great finish from Luke Shaw. But I just thought his overall performance, he's infectious when he's on a football pitch. His quality, but his drive to go forward, to close people down. I think he's someone now who's really making Gareth Southgate think about the squad and someone who can definitely force his way in. The big dilemma he has is that it's not this summer, the World Cup. It's in the winter next season. So his next move or his next decision of where he plays his football next season is key for him.
Will it be at Palace still? Will it be back at Chelsea? Who knows? Let's talk left back, shall we? Luke Shaw getting a goal for England in this one. What did you make of him first up?
Well, he looked confident, didn't he? It was interesting listening to his interview saying he feels wanted and feels part of things when he's away with England. Gareth Southgate has a lot of trust in him. I think knowing as well that you're at this moment in time, you're the number one left back for England is a huge bonus when you go away. He's obviously got a lot of trust from the manager, but I think that wing back role really suited him in the game. I think he got forward extremely well, scoring his goal. Is it two goals in 3 games now for England as well? So he's feeling very confident going into games. But I'm a big fan of Luke Shaw. I think he's a great player. I think it suits him playing in that wing back position because defensively he switches off at times, which is something that happens to fullbacks. But he gets away with it a little bit more because he's more advanced.
It's quite a contrast what Luke Shaw was saying. I don't want to be cruel or mean or unfair, but I think it's that South Africa World Cup was that not the happiest camp there? Maybe, and what's changed then in the England setup that you can come out and say something like that?
I think there's a confidence within expressing yourself these days and saying how you feel. I think there's also a feeling that the players have got a voice now and they can voice their opinions a little bit without being overly criticised. I think there's more of an acceptance towards that. So I think, listen, Manchester United players are finding the season very difficult and they're finding things tough. And sometimes it's a little bit of an escape when you go away with your national team. And we've seen a couple of interviews come out in the last couple of weeks from not only Luke Shaw, but I think the other one was Paul Pogba as well, speaking about Manchester United this season. But when you go away with your national team, I think Gareth Southgate's created an incredible atmosphere and made the players feel very comfortable and very welcome when they go to the national setup.
He left the pitch. Tyrick Mitchell came off the bench. OK, what did you make of his debut?
Really like him. I think he's aggressive. I think he's forward thinking. When he goes forward, he goes with intent. I think there's a positivity about him. I think the one thing that you don't want to do when you make your debut is just play safe. I don't think he did that. I think he tried to get forward as much as possible. So delighted for him, because there's been a lot of talk about him being in and around. Obviously called up a little bit later than everyone else to the squad, but fully deserved it, and an outstanding player. Really, really exciting future ahead of him.
Yeah, talking exciting futures ahead, it seems only a matter of time before Harry Kane breaks Wayne Rooney's England record of 53 goals. He moved level second with Sir Bobby Charlton on 49 goals. Right. How many do you think he can end up with?
Injury. I mean, you look at injuries, don't you, and you think, is that the only thing that's going to stop him really smashing this record and going high into maybe the 60s, 70s? You've also got to look at other players coming into the squad and pressuring him at the moment. You don't really see that pressure coming from anyone. You don't see that up-and-coming player who's really going to take that shirt off him at the moment. So as long as Harry Kane's got the supply around him, which he's got an abundance at the moment, and there's players who haven't even made the England squad this time who are capable of providing goals for him as well. You think of Rashford and you think of Sancho at Manchester United straight away. You look at those players that Gareth Southgate's got at his disposal and you think, wow, he's got some talent there to provide the goals and the assists for Harry Kane. So I wouldn't want to put a figure on it, but it wouldn't surprise me if he went high into the 70s or 80s because of the quality that he possesses.
49 and 68 is a pretty impressive return, isn't it?
Yeah.
OK, so he's got 4 to equal, 5 to break. Will he do it before the World Cup?
You would have thought so, wouldn't you? I mean, the game's coming up: Hungary, Germany, Italy in the Nations League. Can he do it? Absolutely he can. And again, you look at Italy, so good in the summer in the Euros, and then now they're suffering a little bit. I think there's obviously goals against Hungary and Germany as well. Yeah, I think he'll definitely break it. It's just a matter of time. But will he do it before the World Cup? I think he will. Yes.
More immediate is Ivory Coast. Then, what kind of challenge will they provide?
Well, when a lot of teams think of, a lot of people's perceptions of African teams is that they're disorganised. They're more individual players. I don't see that anymore. I think with the sort of influence of European coaches coming into the game, that they seem more tactically astute. Going toe to toe with France in the last game, France needing a goal in the 93rd minute tells you everything about them. But you look at the forward line alone: Pepe, Haller, Zaha. Then behind them, you've got Kessie, who's an unbelievable player. Then at the back, you look at it, you go Eric Bailly, and then Willy Bolly, Serge Aurier. They've got huge experience of playing Premier League football, European football. So they are very well coached players who understand the game extremely well. This will be a huge challenge for England, because where Switzerland sat back a little bit, I don't expect the Ivory Coast to do that. I expect them to go after the weaknesses. If England play with a 3 at the back and the 2 wing backs, that'll allow Pepe and Zaha, if they play, to go into those spaces in wide areas and really cause England a lot of problems. So this is an exciting game to go up against for Gareth Southgate, because it'll test them in a different way.
Yep, he said he'd make changes. OK, who would you like to see get a start with? I guess competition for World Cup spots now stepping up a notch, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, the one player I want to see more of is Jude Bellingham. I love him, love watching him, love his enthusiasm for the game, but just the technical side of his game, the ability to beat players, real box-to-box player, an understanding of the game at such a young age, but such a confidence about himself to provide as well. So I'd love to see him play. I'd like to see James Ward-Prowse play a little bit more as well, see how he fares at international level. We know his quality from set pieces, both from corners, free kicks, and in and around the penalty area. So he's another player that you'd like to see given more game opportunities. And then Tyrick Mitchell. Tyrick Mitchell was the other one for me. We know what Luke Shaw can do. We know his capabilities. He's so trusted by Gareth Southgate. He's proven it at the highest level. Now it's an opportunity for him to play as well, and Walker Peters as well. Give them both that opportunity to go out and show them show the manager what they can do, because I know the right back position's probably covered when you think of Reece James and like Trent Alexander-Arnold and Kieran Trippier when he's fit and when all them players are fit and available. But on that left-hand side, with Ben Chilwell having that injury, how's he going to recover? Is he going to be ready for that World Cup in the summer, in the winter? Is he going to be coming back, or is he going to need that little bit more time to get used to the injury, get over it a little bit more? And that's where Tyrick Mitchell might benefit from that.
Yeah, the fact that it is there, I mean, you tell me, you've been to a World Cup. The idea normally is the Premier League is so intense, is so hectic, and by the time you get to the summer, players are tired or they've picked up injuries. At that time of the year, though, should the England players not be peaking as far as physical fitness is concerned and in some ways still fresh?
Yeah, I think that's the hope for everyone, isn't it? I think that's what a lot of managers are thinking. The pre-seasons they're almost done. When you're into the season, your players should be in tip-top form. That is the hope for every manager going into the competition, is that they're at the physical best. So I think it makes for a great World Cup in that aspect as well. I think that obviously the weather conditions will be a little bit humid, a little bit warmer, but they're not as bad as people are making out around that time of year. I went out there with Liverpool a couple of seasons ago to watch the World Club Cup, and it was temperatures that are bearable. It's not bad at all to play in, especially the times of the games and the kickoff time. So I don't see it being a huge problem, but I think that is, from a player's perspective, I'd be thinking I'm going to be at me very, very best going into that World Cup.
But who will miss out? Is there one in particular, you think, in the squad at the moment whose spot could be in trouble?
I think there's always players who'll be looking over the shoulder. But the big thing is, Rob, is like you say there, you're talking about players being at the peak and at the best. We don't know what injuries are going to be picked up in the first half of the season, because at the moment you'd say, well, these players will definitely go. But then they might pick up injuries just before it. They could pick up long-term injuries. My concern is for Ben Chilwell, of all players, because of that injury leading into the new season. How's he going to recover from it? Will it take him a while to get his confidence back and go into the season? He's the one player I look at the moment, and that's just purely from an injury point of view from this season. So otherwise, I try not to look too far into it, because we don't know how it's going to play out.